guys, so I have been using the brand new MacBook M4 for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Whenever it was released, I bought it. And before that, I actually had the M2 MacBook Air, and I was curious if I would really need the upgrade or not. And if you're in the same position, I feel like this could be a good video for you. I want to show the first thing I want to talk about obviously is the color sky blue, which is a pretty nice color. As you can see, it looks more gray than sky blue. I definitely wish it was a bit more saturated. I'm sorry for the wind, it's really windy here. But I wish it was a bit more saturated. If I could describe it in a color, it would be like the color of that iPhone 13 Pro Max blue. That was more saturated. I really like that color. But yeah, sky blue. It's nice. It's definitely not as bold as the M2 MacBook Air, which I also have here. Ignore the fingerprints. Oh my goodness. But yeah, definitely not as bold as the MacBook or the Midnight Black or Midnight Blue, whatever they really call it. But yeah, one other thing that I want mention is that this is $100 cheaper. I'm sure everyone's already told you that, but it's $100 cheaper. I think it starts at $999 USD, the base model 13-inch, and you can work your way up depending on how you spec it. And also, you can get it cheaper actually. You can get it cheaper, $100 cheaper if you use the educational discount. And that is a big benefit as well, which I guess makes it a bit more, kind of bang for your buck type of laptop. But yeah, this is a brand new M4 MacBook Air. I think we should talk about the screen next. So the screen hasn't really changed too much. It's pretty much the exact same as it was the last couple of years, and it's still 500 peak 500 nits, and it's liquid retina display. I definitely wish it was a little bit higher. Even like right now I'm in the pretty like shady area, not like that, but pretty like it's not too much sun in this specific area, so it's pretty workable. Like again, like I can see the screen pretty clear, and it's sharp. It's still pretty sharp. I still wish it was a bit higher again, because in certain areas it's just too bright and it just glares on it too much. You don't get any nano texture display option on this, but overall for work and for content consumption and even video editing, it's still pretty sharp. It's still pretty good. I would definitely opt in for the 15-inch because I just think the 15-inch is just a lot better. You get more screen real estate for workflow, especially. I don't know why people get the 13-inch. Again, it's personal preference obviously, but I think that the 15-inch is probably the best option. But yeah, that's options for screens. Alright, so one big change in the new MacBook M4 Air MacBook Air 15-inch is that where the heck is that? Is that now the two Thunderbolt ports support two external displays simultaneously while having the laptop screen open. That's a big plus for me personally, as I like to be on the go constantly, and I'm always at home. Whenever I'm working at home, I like to just be able to plug in the laptop and then use the two displays, including the laptop display, just because it's nice to have multiple displays. That's something I can't do with the MacBook M2, the one that I currently have. So if you're someone that likes to use external display at home, obviously more than two, then this would also be a big plus for you. So the one thing that I forgot to mention on the new MacBook M4 Air is that 60 Hertz. You don't get the 120 Hertz ProMotion. That's not a surprise. I never expected 120 Hertz in the Air model. So yeah, again, $100 price drop. If you have a 120 Hertz monitor at home and you want to connect your M2, you can still go into settings and change the maximum output for this monitor to 120, and it'll be faster than 60 Hertz. So yeah, that's a big plus. So yeah, two ports, two Thunderbolt ports, MagSafe, and then a headphone jack. No SD card reader and no HDMI port. I don't really care. Again, I don't know why people complain about that when like a dock is like $30 and it has all that stuff, if not more ports for like thing. Like I just like that it's light and like super thin and looks clean. Come on, look at this. Yes sir. So let's talk about the all-new M4 MacBook Air chip. In this 15-inch base price model is packed with a 10-core GPU and a 10-core CPU. It comes standard with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and the biggest regret I had when getting the M2 MacBook Air is I skimped out on the RAM and got the 8 gigabyte spec. That was me thinking that 8 gigabytes would be enough in 2023. Biggest mistake of my life. But now you can jump straight into the 16GB RAM and not make the same mistake that I made. In terms of storage, obviously the price goes up the more storage you add, but me personally, I've been using the 256GB storage option in my old M2. Honestly, I don't find it to be lackluster at all. But that being said, I do use a lot of external storage on the go. I have an M.2 and a hard drive with me usually wherever I go in my bag, so I don't really need the extra storage internal. But then again, storage is a personal preference, and it all depends on what you're really going to be using the MacBook for. If you're a student or just doing some light creative work, or just use a laptop for work in general, then the 256GB should be plenty. But again, you should always look at what you really want to use a MacBook for. This M4 though is really good for what it's worth. If you're not out there rendering long 4K timelines all day, this thing scrubs through 4K footage without a hit. That's exactly why I'm saying if you're doing creative work, or your creative work isn't top tier industry level, you don't really care too much about active cooling or the 120Hz display, there's really no reason for you to spend MacBook Pro money when the M4 MacBook Air literally gets the job done.
Morty.
Okay, so now for the last part of the video, I want to talk about a little bit of the minor changes that came into the new MacBook M4. You get the new webcam features, which are like not too crazy, just minor changes. Same webcam quality, I believe, but you get center stage and desk view. Center stage is basically when you are on FaceTime. For example, if you're in the kitchen cooking something and you kind of have to move around the kitchen, if you put it in a spot where it has a wide range, it'll keep you centered, at least to the best of its ability. It's pretty good actually. It'll keep you centered on FaceTime. It's a cool feature to have. I don't personally use it. I just keep it off. I feel like sometimes you don't always have to be the center of attention. So yeah, usually that's the first thing I turn off when I'm on FaceTime. So another thing that I actually never use is desk view. It's still cool, don't get me wrong, but just never really saw the need of it. So desk view is basically like a top-down view of what's in front of you on the desk. You can turn it on, through like your FaceTime options. And you basically can show whatever's on the desk in front of you. Still cool. I'm sure you can get a better quality. I think there's like a mount for your iPhone that gives a better quality, but you still have it in this. It distorts the object a little bit, like your hands, or makes it a bit more stretchy. I don't know how Apple does it, but I feel like it's a cool option to have, but I'd never ever see myself ever using it. The quality just looks a little too off. So the last thing I want to talk about is the battery life. Wow, before the MacBook, I was on a Windows, and man, I was struggling with battery life. It was the worst experience. Like, I just hated it, and it was around $1,000 as well, by the way. It was a Windows laptop. It was like a Lenovo like gaming pad or something, and I needed it for school because a lot of the softwares are available on that. Until one day I just said, screw it. Like, I can't be carrying out this bulky charging brick with me at all times. It just was not worth it. And Windows do make a lot of good laptops with good battery life, but if you have an iPhone, I just think that the ecosystem is just too nice to not be tapped in. And that's exactly what I did. I got the M2 and I never complained about the battery life, and even with this, like, the battery life is just amazing. I never have to really worry about battery life, and even if I do, it's like charges like a phone brick. It's small and it's not too big, and it's so portable, right? But you get 18 hours of battery life on this, or 18 hours rated, estimated 18 hours, depending on how you use it, I'm sure. But at this point, that's all I really have to add to the video. Now, if you've made it to this point, there's a chance you probably enjoyed some part of the video. And if that's the case, then a like is always free. If not better, you can always subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.